Hello everybody, welcome back to a new video tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to install Windows XP Professional 64-bit Service Pack 2 on the HP EliteBook 8760W. Now, unofficially, the Windows XP on the HP EliteBook 8760W is unsupported. But with my method that we're going to get running, we're going to be dual booting Windows 7 Professional 64-bit with Windows XP 64-bit Professional. We have a second hard drive installed on this computer. As you can see here, we got Windows XP right here. We got a 500 gigabyte mechanical hard drive installed on the laptop with Windows 7 installed on the 256 gigabyte SSD. You will also need a copy of Windows XP Professional 64-bit, a flash drive containing a blank flash drive. I have a flash drive here. We're going to format this using Rufus, and then we're going to download WinSetup from USB to create the Windows XP bootable flash drive. So go ahead and click on download. Click on save. And then we're going to close out WinSetup from USB.org. And next you'll need to go to massdrive.dev. Click on download Windows/Office. And then click on Windows XP, and here are product keys you can use to activate to get past the product key screen in the Windows XP setup. And you'll need to download your Windows XP setup from here. I've already downloaded my Windows XP ISO image. So next we're going to close out of Google Chrome. And we're going to extract WinSetup from USB. Click Extract All and hit Extract. Then double click on WinSetup from USB. User account control will pop up. Click on Yes. Click Extract. It'll begin extracting. Go to WinSetup from USB and run the 64-bit installer. Now this will pop up. In the meantime, what you need to do is you need to minimize this, and we need to go to Rufus. We're going to activate Rufus, and we're going to select non-bootable. Make sure the file format is MBR, NTFS, and we're going to label this Windows XP Pro 64-bit USB installer. And then go ahead and hit start, hit OK, and it will begin formatting the flash drive and partitioning it the way it needs to be partitioned. Alright, now go ahead and click on close, and then go back to downloads and launch WinSetup from USB. Well, it's already open, so never mind. We're going to go ahead and go to downloads, and then we're going to extract the Windows XP ISO. We're going to open with Power ISO. And then we're going to create a new folder and enable it WinXP 64-bit. And we're going to grab all of these files and drag them to the Windows XP 64-bit folder. Click on Switch to, and then you can close out of Power ISO, and then you can go back to WinSetup from USB. Make sure that you have the generic flash disk or your flash drive selected. I have a 32 gigabyte flash drive plugged into my computer, and we're going to just click refresh one more time. And as you can see, it shows generic flash drive and TFS 29.2 gigabytes. That's our 32 gig flash drive. And now we're going to select Windows 2000 XP 2003 setup. And we're going to click on the hamburger menu here. Then we're going to go to downloads, WinSetup from USB, WinSetup from USB, Windows XP 64-bit, and select folder. Click I accept. Now you don't need to do anything else. All you have to do is click on Go, and it will begin formatting and transferring over the files that it needs to transfer over to the flash drive to make the flash drive bootable into Windows XP. Alright, so now we are going to go ahead and boot into the flash drive on our PC. As you can see, we've got everything labeled here, and we're going to boot into our flash drive, and I'll see you over on my phone. Okay, so now we are at my laptop, and as you can see, I have an HP EliteBook 8760W, and we're going to press the power button. And then we're going to repeatedly press the F9 key to get into the BIOS boot menu. And then we're going to select USB hard drive 1, generic mass storage device, or whatever your flash drive is labeled as. Then you're going to bring up to this grab boot menu, hit enter, and then you're going to scroll down to number 1 and hit enter. Then it will begin loading the Windows XP setup menu. Do not press F2 or F6 to initiate any recovery menus or load any additional SATA drivers. The software that we flashed with the flash drive with will automatically do that for you. Go ahead and hit enter. And then we're going to scroll down to where our 500 disk partition is. And we're going to select enter. We're going to format the partition NTFS quick. And we're going to press F. And it's going to begin formatting the drive for Windows XP. Now keep in mind that this computer does not have any official drivers for Windows XP 64-bit. It does have drivers for Windows XP 32-bit. To get drivers running on the system, we're going to be using Snappy Driver Installer and One Core API. We're going to be using a combination of that to get drivers running on this computer. So Windows XP is going to begin installing, creating new files, and it's going to begin copying over the files. I'll come back to you once it is done. Alright, so now your computer is going to begin rebooting. Let the countdown timer count down, and then wait for it to reboot. Repeatedly hit the F9 key, boot back into your flash drive, hit enter, and then you'll want to hit the number 2. You'll want to scroll down to number 2 and select the Windows XP setup for first boot, and hit enter. And then it will begin launching the Windows XP installation phase. As you can see now, we have the Windows XP x64 Ed Edition installed. And then once we get this installed, I will be back to you once we have the installation phase completed and we are in the desktop of Windows XP 64-bit. And I'll show you how to install One Core API to get Snappy Driver Installer launched on Windows XP 64-bit. And we will go from there. Okay, so now you need to shut down your computer, which I already have done. Go ahead and remove your USB flash drive from your PC so your PC can boot into Windows XP 64-bit. So it should begin booting into Windows XP 64-bit. Now the screen is going to be really big because there are no graphics drivers installed right now. But one thing I should mention is that you need to have a compatible graphics card in your laptop that supports Windows XP. And I have a compatible graphics card in my laptop that's compatible with Windows XP. So now it's going to begin booting Windows XP. And I'm going to go ahead and grab my external hard drive. I'm going to plug that into my PC. And then that's going to begin loading Windows XP. Alright, so now go to My where you keep your snappy driver installer. In this case, My Passport S25E1. And I'm going to go to where I keep my drivers, basically. And then we're going to load the snappy driver installer. First, you need to launch the 32-bit installer. Do not install every driver through 32-bit, as this can cause corruption issues on your Windows XP installer. First, go ahead and click on Unblock. And then what we're going to do is that we're going to go ahead and look for the Intel Ultimate N Wireless AGN Wi-Fi driver. And then we're going to click Install Now. Alright, so now as you can see, we are connected to our wireless network, and we need to go ahead and get a web browser so we can download the One Core API. So we're gonna grab a web browser once I can find my downloads folder, because clearly I am blind. And we're going to be using Supremium. I have an old build of Supremium downloaded. And then once we install this, we're going to upgrade to the latest build of Supremium, which is version 132 by Win32. Now, I am in contact with the developer of Win32, so if you need any issues, you can feel free to comment them in the description, and I can bring them to his attention. So now we're going to create shortcuts for Supremium, and I like to enable the 60 theme for Supremium, and I'm going to install for all users and hit OK. Then hit OK. Now we're going to launch Supremium. I think it's actually pronounced Supremium, but I'm not really sure how it's pronounced, and I really don't care either. Give it a minute to launch. This is on a mechanical hard drive, so it's going to take a little bit to launch. And then I'm going to sign in to my web browser later. And I think it just crashed, so we're going to launch it again. So now we are going to search for One Core API. And we're going to download One Core API. And we're going to click on Releases. And then we're going to scroll down to where it says One Core API Binaries 4.0. Download that, and then it'll begin downloading. Now we're going to also download Legacy Update, so go to legacyupdate.net. And we are going to click Install Legacy Update. And it will begin downloading Legacy Update 1.11. And we're going to go to our Downloads folder. And we're going to right-click on Legacy Update and click on Properties. And right-click on Block and hit Apply. Hit OK. Double-click on Launch Update. And we're going to uncheck Root Certificates Update and click Install. So it's going to begin installing Legacy Update. And I'm assuming you guys have seen Legacy Update run on Windows XP before through Michael MJD and several other vintage YouTubers who do Windows XP stuff. So I'm not going to bore you with the process of running Legacy Update on Windows XP. We're going to wait for One Core API to download. And then we're also going to adjust internet speed with TCP Stack mod. I'll show you where to download that as well. And we will be back in a few minutes once everything's done downloading and configuring. And I've got the updates up to date. One thing I forgot to mention is that you'll need to take a snapshot of your installed operating system, because there are cases where I've done this on another unsupported system and I've had to reinstall XP several times because I've had blue screen of death issues and they have prevented the OS from rebooting and starting up again. So you will need to create a snapshot using a free software called Macrium Reflect. We're downloading Macrium Reflect right now. It's going to be slow because we're using an unsupported driver and we haven't adjusted the TCP stack. But I heard that the creator of One Core API, Samuel, I'm in his Discord server and I heard he is going to be supposedly fixing the TCP stack issue with Windows XP and adjusting it to where it will have fast speeds again. So on my computer at home, my desktop, my Dell Precision T7610, I get about 400 to 500 megabits per second down in Windows 10 and Windows 7, but in Windows XP, I get about 8 megs down. Now that is a TCP stack issue, and that can be fixed with a mod. That is one of the testers on the One Core API Discord have introduced me to. His name is AHD, and I will show you where to download the TCP stack configuration tool to increase the network speed on your Windows XP operating system. And I'll also show you how to use Macrium Reflect to image your existing hard drive and create a boot disk to rescue your Windows XP installation just in case it does blue screen. All right, so now we're going to close out of Superium, and we're going to close out of Internet Explorer, and we're going to go to My Documents, Downloads, and we're going to right-click on Macrium Reflect and go to Properties, and we're going to hit Unblock, hit Apply, hit OK. Double-click on Macrium Reflect. This is the latest version of Macrium, the second to latest, I believe. I believe Macrium Reflect is on version 10 now. This is version 8. We will begin installing Macrium Reflect on Windows XP 64-bit. Click on Next. I accept. Next. This commercial is being installed for personal use. Click on that button. Alexa, stop! Click on Next. Uncheck Register this installation. Click on Next. Install by clicking Next, and then click on Install. So now go ahead and click on Finish. And then it should automatically launch Macrium Reflect. Now what you want to do is you want to look for the drive that Windows XP is installed on. It should be the first drive here, and you're going to want to copy over the MBR partition format and the main drive. So the main drive has 5.37 gigs installed. So go ahead and click on Image as Disk, and then we're going to go to Folder, and we are going to hit Browse. We're going to go to My Computer, My Passport 25E1, and then we're going to look for Macrium Reflect System Backups. Select that, hit OK. And this is where we're going to store our image backups. And we're going to click on Next. And then we're going to select, we don't need a backup plan right now. We don't need to schedule it either. So go ahead and click on Next. Click on Finish. Run this backup now. Save as backup destination file. And we're going to label this. We're going to label this HP EliteBook 8760W clean install before one core API, and we're going to hit OK. And then it's going to begin imaging the not the SSD, the HDD. It's going to begin imaging the HDD. And this is... Alright, so now we have created our restore partition on our external hard drive. And now we need to create our rescue media. So click on Rescue. And then we're going to click on Removable Flash Drive. Check for missing drivers on boot. And we're going to click on Build. Click on this, and then click OK. That's going to begin initializing the flash drive. It's going to ask to download the boot.win file. Go ahead and download it. And then it's going to begin downloading. Now, this is going to depend on how fast your internet speed is. I got a decent internet connection. It could be better, but it's decent enough. It's about 100 megs down where I'm staying right now, and it should be relatively fast. So I'll come back to you once it has downloaded. Alright, so now we can go ahead and hit close, and we got our rescue media created. So now we're going to go ahead and go to My Documents and Downloads, and we're going to extract one core API, extract all, hit Next, Next, wait for it to extract, and then click on Finish. And then we have the 64-bit of Windows XP, so we're going to double click on 64-bit. And we're going to double click on one core API pack, click on Run, and wait for it to extract all the necessary files. This is going to take some time, so bear with me. I will fast forward through this process. Alright, so now I'll go ahead and click on Next. I agree. Next. And it's going to begin installing everything that's necessary for the extension kernel to install. And I'll come back to you once it's done installing. Alright, so one core API has finished installing. Go ahead and click on Finish. And it will reboot your PC. Give it a minute. It's slow. It's got a slow spinning hard drive, so you got to give it a second. And it should automatically reboot the computer and load back into Windows XP Pro 64-bit Service Pack 2. Oh, it's loading the flash drive. We don't want that. I forgot the flash drive was plugged in. My bad. I have it set to boot from USB devices automatically, and I forgot the flash drive was plugged in, so it was going to load the recovery media to basically restore the installation, but we don't need to do that right now. And we're also going to create a restore image of this particular image after one core API has been installed and drivers have been installed, and we've adjusted the TCP stack. So go ahead and wait for Windows XP to turn on. And we're going to adjust the screen resolution. We're going to go all the way to 1600 by 900. Hit apply. Hit yes. And now we're going to close out of here. No, I don't want help and support. Yeah, it's going to load anyways because I clicked on it. So now we're going to go to start. After we plug in our USB drive to the USB 2.0 ports. Give it a minute. Click on start, my computer. And then we're going to give it a minute to load my passport 25E1. Double click on that. And then we're going to go back to where we have our drivers. And we're going to load SDIRS 64-bit installer for Snappy Driver installer. And then we're going to select all on the Snappy Driver installer. So we're going to go ahead and unblock, hit the maximize button, and then we're going to select all and click install. So now it's going to create a restore point, and it's going to begin installing every single available driver that's available for this version of Windows, and I'll come back to you once it's done. Okay, so now you're going to go to speedguide.net/download.php, and you're going to scroll down to where it says TCP Optimizer 4. Go ahead and click on that link, and then you're going to go to My Documents, Downloads, and click on Save. Then wait for it to download, close out of Supremium, go to My Documents, Downloads, unblock TCP Optimizer, hit apply, hit OK, and launch TCP Optimizer. Now what you need to do is you need to max this all the way at 100 plus megabits per second. Check POP if it lets you. And then you're going to go to Windows Default and then check POP and hit Apply Changes. It's going to change a bunch of registry settings. As you can see here, it's changed all of them. That's necessary. Hit OK. Go ahead and reboot your system. As you can see, we've got audio working now that drivers have been installed. We're going to begin rebooting our system and boot back into Windows XP. And then I'm going to show you how to install the Windows bootloader so you can boot back into your main operating system, Windows 7 Professional 64-bit. Boot back into there so you can edit your videos, watch YouTube, mainly anything you want to do, play games that can't run on XP. Because XP only supports DirectX 9. But with one core API installed now, you should be able to run DirectX 10 and DirectX 11. There are plans of Samuel incorporating DirectX 12 eventually to one core API for Windows XP, but he has not actually confirmed this feature yet. He doesn't know if he's actually going to implement it or not yet, but he does have Wine DirectX 3D installed on one core API, so we do know that's installed. So we're going to wait for this to load, and then we're going to go back into Start, My Documents, Downloads, and then we'll go back to TCP Optimizer, launch that, give it a minute, cancel, and then we're going to select on Optimal, apply changes, hit OK, and reboot the operating system. I do want to apologize for the video length being long. It's probably going to be a 45-minute video. This is a pretty in-depth tutorial on how to get Windows XP on an unsupported laptop. So I do apologize for the length of the video. But I will be leaving chapters in the description so you can skip around. So you can skip around and know what part to jump to when you want to see each part. All right, so I was able to force it to boot back into Windows 7. But what you need to do is you need to go ahead and click on Add New Entry. And then select NT XP 2K3 and 2K. And go ahead and hit the plus button. Then make sure it's under Edit Boot menu. Go to BCD Deployment and write MBR. Now go ahead and close out of ECBCD, not now, and restart the computer. And it should bring up the Windows MBR boot menu when you launch into your Windows OS. And as you can see here, we have Windows XP and Windows 7. It doesn't matter which XP you select, but go ahead and select Windows XP. And you should theoretically boot back into Windows XP, x64-bit edition. And as you can see, we have Windows XP successfully installed on our system. Now I'll come back to you once I figured out what kind of graphics card I have in my laptop, and I'll show you how to install the NVIDIA WebDriver for Windows XP. All right, so now we are back into Windows XP, and now we're going to select Start, My Computer, Local Disk. We're going to select our Windows XP Pro 64-bit. Click Show the Contents of this folder. Here's our NVIDIA WebDriver. Double click on Setup. and it should theoretically find the card. If not, we'll have to modify it in Windows XP and come back to this and do it again. And it looks like it found it, so we're going to go ahead and hit agree and continue. We're going to click on custom, click on next, perform a clean installation, and then click on next again. And it'll begin installing the NVIDIA WebDriver. This is version 307.83. This is a 64-bit driver. And then I'll show you how to install DirectX 9 on Windows XP as well, getting that up to date. And then in another video, once I figure out how to get it working, I'll show you how to install DirectX 10 and DirectX 11 as well. Alright, so now go ahead and click on Restart Now. Select Windows XP. Alright, so now to verify that the WebDriver has been installed, you can simply right-click on your computer, and the NVIDIA control panel options should be there. Go ahead and click on that. And then it should load up here momentarily. And then as you can see, we have successfully installed the NVIDIA control panel. That is how to install Windows XP on an unsupported system in 2025, mid-2025. I hope you all enjoyed today's video tutorial. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on today's video tutorial.